Hello friends, welcome back to this online lecture series on earthquake resistant design of structure. In the previous lecture, we have seen that the performance of open story buildings, how this performance of open story building is affected under the effect of lateral loads. Why they are vulnerable, what is the behavior that this type of buildings undergo, and what is the solution to this problem, or what is the earthquake resistant feature that we can introduce in this open story building in order to enhance its performance under the effect of lateral loads were discussed in the last lecture. Today, we are going to talk about one more such parameter or one more characteristics that we see in case of reinforced concrete buildings. That is, it is again going to be a vulnerable parameter that if this parameter is not kept in mind during the designing, then as a result of that, the possibility is that the performance of the reinforced concrete building is likely to be hampered under the effect of lateral loads. And that particular feature or that particular characteristics that you see in a building is known as short column effect, right? So let us understand what is short column effect, what is the behavior of the building when the short column effect is going to be present in the building, and what is the solution, that is how we can eliminate the short column effect in the building, right? So when I talk about short column effect, first of all we again understand which columns are known as short columns. As we have seen that the guidelines of IS 456 is using two terms. First is slender column and second is the short column, right? The guidelines of IS 456 is mentioning that if L by D ratio, that is length to depth ratio, is less than or equal to 12 or greater than or equal to 12, right? These guidelines you are very well aware that are given in IS 456. Depending upon this guideline, it will be defined whether a particular column will be known as a slender column or a short column, right? So now what is the problem with the short columns? So in case of the past earthquakes, similarly just like in case of open storage buildings, we have seen that the past earthquakes have shown that the performance of buildings with open storing building was not good when subjected to severe ground shaking. Similarly, past earthquakes have also shown that the performance of reinforced concrete buildings having the effect of short column or the presence of short column in the geometry have also not performed well when subjected to lateral loads. Now, when the short column is going to be there, that is the buildings where the height of the columns is same, height of the columns is different at the same story level, right? So that is, for example, I am talking about a ground story building. There, in case of a ground story building, I have some columns whose height is larger as compared to the other columns. That is, two different heights of columns are there at the same story, right? So the performance of these types of buildings when subjected to lateral load is not good when subjected to lateral load, right? So as a result of that, during the past earthquake, reinforced concrete frame buildings that have columns of different heights within one story suffered more damage as compared to the other type of building, right? So if I take the example, then I can see the sketch over here or the figure over here where two types of buildings are shown. For two cases are discussed where the short column effect is likely to be possible. First effect is when the building is located on a slopy ground, and second effect is there wherever you have an intermediate mezzanine floor or an intermediate floor in a certain portion of the building. Let us look at both the cases one by one. First of all, I am talking about the building that is located on the slopy ground. So as you can see on the figure, where the slope is maximum, there the height of the column is more. Then as the slope is reducing, then the height of the column is getting reduced, and lastly, the portion where the slope is ending, at that particular junction, the height of the column that is available based on the site condition is very small as compared to the tall column. So as a result of that, the extreme end of the building where the height of the column is more, that is indicated at tall column, and the other end of the building where the height of the column available is very less, this column is known as short column, right? So wherever the unsupported length of the column is getting reduced, there the effect of short column is likely to come into picture. The second example is that of a G+4 story building, where again the open story, it is where the open story is located at the ground story. So altogether the presence of or the absence of infill walls itself is going to create a problem in this particular figure that we are seeing, because infill walls are not present, and since infill walls are not present, so as a result of that, what is going to happen is that already the building is going to not perform well in case of earthquake forces, as we have seen in the last slide. And at the same time, the other thing that is happening is that all the columns are going to have the same height except the first two columns that you can see on the left hand side. Why? Because at the ground level or above the ground level or between the ground level and the first floor level, an intermediate floor, temporary floor is shown, which is known as the mezzanine floor level, right? So now whenever the mezzanine floor level is going to be there, then as a result of that, what is going to happen is that the unsupported length of these two columns is going to be changed as compared to the other column. And whenever the unsupported length of the columns are going to change, then as a result of that, the possibility of short column comes into picture. And as a result of that, this short column effect is introduced in the building. Now this is a very, what you can say, a very common feature that you will see in buildings. That is, some portion of the building is having slab, the other portion is having double height portion. These type of buildings you see in bungalows also. But whenever you are going to have these kind of things, then as a result of that, you need to keep in this mind and you need to check whether the column is becoming a short column or not. Right? So when I talk about the behavior of short columns, as we have seen previously, first we have understood the problem, next we come to the behavior part. So how is the behavior of the short column and how it is going to be harmful to the performance of the building? That is what we are going to discuss over here. That is, the poor behavior of short column is due to the fact that in case of an earthquake, a tall column and a short column of the same cross section move horizontally by the same amount delta. That is, what is going to happen is that if a floor story height is such that tall column is also present, short column is also going to present, the cross section, that is the size of the column, is going to be same. Let us say I am having a column of 300 by 450 mm, right? Now I am having the geometry of the building is such that the unsupported length of one column is 3 meters and the unsupported length of the other column is 1.5 meters. So as a result of that, the column which is going to have an unsupported length of 1.5 meter is going to be a short column, right? Now when lateral forces are going to act on this particular building, then as a result of that, the forces will be evenly distributed, and when the forces will be evenly distributed, then as a result of that, we can safely say that the horizontal displacement that is going to be there, that is the back and forth movement of the building is going to be there, that is going to be by the same amount, that is the horizontal displacement is going to be by the same amount, that is delta, as that is shown over here in the figure. That is, the blue column is the tall column and the red column is the short column. In both the cases, the horizontal force is applied from left to right, and whenever the horizontal force is applied, then as a result of that, the sway of the column at the top is going to be there, and when the sway is going to be there, that amount, that value is shown as delta in the figure over here. However, what is going to happen that in case of short columns, the short columns are going to be stiffer. Why? Because the unsupported length is going to get reduced. When unsupported length is going to get reduced, then the stiffness is going to increase, because we know that stiffness and length both are proportional to each other. What is the definition of stiffness? The amount of horizontal force that is required to initiate the horizontal displacement in a building is known as the stiffness, right? So since the unsupported length is going to be reduced, the stiffness is going to increase. When the stiffness is going to increase, then that means larger amount of horizontal force is going to be required in order to initiate the movement of this particular column, right? And as a result of this uneven stiffness in the building that is going to be introduced due to the presence of short column, the problem starts in the building. That is, when you talk about the large lateral deformation, then this larger lateral deformation is going to be effected in such a manner that the tall columns are going to carry less lateral force and the short columns are going to attract large amount of lateral forces. That is, if a short column is not adequately designed for such a horizontal force, then it can suffer significant amount of damage when subjected to earthquake forces. And this behavior is known as the short column effect, right? Because since the stiffness is going to be increased, so the capacity to attract the force is also going to increase. When the capacity of attracting the force is going to be increased, then we can say that large amount of shear force is going to be transferred to the column. When large amount of shear force is transferred, then the shear capacity of column should be also sufficient enough to resist these lateral forces that are transferred to it, right? And if this column is not capable of resisting that shear force which is introduced due to the effect of short column, then as a result of that, the damage can be initiated in the column, and as a result of that, the collapse of the building can also be initiated. Okay, so further if we continue with the discussion of behavior of the short column, then what is the type of failure pattern that we will see in this type of building? Then it is said that the damage in these short columns is often in the form of X-shaped diagonal cracking. that we will see in the next slide. The failure pattern is shown. That is, this type of damage of column is due to the shear failure. Right? So again, coming back to the importance of shear capacity in the column. In all the lectures that we have discussed previously, we have everywhere seen that in case of lateral forces, the shear failure of the column is the most predominant type of failure. And that is why the shear capacity of the column needs to be checked every time, so that the performance of the building is not hampered due to the insufficient shear capacity of the column. That is, if short and tall columns exist when the same story at the same story level, then the short columns are going to attract much larger amount of lateral forces due to the increased stiffness. And as a result of that, the demand for the shear capacity or the increase in the shear capacity of the column is going to be there, because large amount of lateral forces are going to be diverted to this short column due to increase in the stiffness. Right? The short column effect also occurs in columns that support mezzanine force of the loft slabs, as we have seen in the previous figure. So we have seen two figures where building located on the slopy ground is also possible to have the short column effect. Then mezzanine floor is introduced, then also there is there. Then the other effect that we have discussed, or the other type of detailing that we have seen earlier, that is, if you are going to take the lintel bars through the columns, or if you are going to take the lintel bars and seal bars through the column, then as we have seen that IS 13920 is saying that if you are taking these lintel bars and seal bars through the column, then in that case that particular lintel beam and the seal beam needs to be modeled in your STAAD Pro or ETABS model. Why? This is the reason. If you are going to take the reinforcing bars of lintel and seal through, then as a result of that, the unsupported length of that column is going to be getting reduced in that particular direction. And when unsupported length will reduce, then it will be capable of attracting large amount of lateral forces. So that is why if you are going to take that through the columns, then it has to be modeled in the software so that the effect can be taken into consideration. Second situation that we observe is that whenever there is difference in the floor level, that is, half of the floor is going to be stopped at this level, the other half portion is going to be resting at this particular level. So if this difference is in the range of 600 or it is going to be less than 1 meter, then what is going to happen is that again the unsupported length of the column is likely to be greatly reduced. And when that is going to be reduced, then again the situation is such that the short column effect will be there, because the stiffness of that particular portion or that unsupported length of the column is likely to be increased greatly. Right? So that is another thing. And there is another special case that we can consider. That is, there is another special situation in buildings when the short column effects are going to be occurred. That is, whenever the partial openings are provided, figure for the same I will show you in the next slide. That is, the partial openings are, that is, the partial height of the wall is there or masonry is there, and then the opening is there. So what is going to happen is that the combined action of the columns as well as the masonry infill walls is not going to be fulfilled. Why? Because the opening is going to be provided. When opening is going to be provided, then the combined action will be there only in the portion where the masonry and the columns are going to be acting together. Whereas in the above portion, where the masonry is not there, as a result of that only the columns are going to resist, and when columns are going to resist, then the lateral strength is going to be reduced as compared to the portion that is below, and as a result of that it is going to be again considered as a short column effect. Right? So let us see this particular thing by means of a figure over here. So as you can see, the geometry of a G+3 building is shown, where the infill walls are provided at ground story, infill walls are provided at first story. Whereas in you talk about the second story, then in case of second story, partial openings are shown. As you can see that the masonry infill is shown for height, shown for some portion of the height, and for the remaining portion, the opening is shown. So whenever this particular thing is going to happen, then as a result of that, we can say that the portion where the opening is provided, there the lateral resistance is going to be less as compared to the portion below, where the combined action of column as well as the masonry infill wall is going to be there. And as a result of that, whenever this change in stiffness is going to be there, as a result of that, the short column effect is going to be introduced in the building, knowingly or unknowingly. This is an implicit feature that is going to happen in the building, whether you consider it in design office or not, but this can be studied at the time of finalizing the planning and elevation of the building itself. So that is, you can see that the mutual coordination between an architect and structure engineer is very important in order to ensure that the performance of building is not hampered irrespective of the any type of elevation that you are going to propose for a particular building. And secondly, the second figure is showing you the failure pattern, that is the X-shaped diagonal cracking, as we have seen in the last slide, right? So this type of failure pattern will be seen. So what is happening here is that, as you can see, that the lintel band is provided, seal band is also provided. So whenever you are going to take the bars of the lintel band and seal band through the columns, then I said the unsupported length in that particular direction. That is, we are going to have a major axis and you are going to have a minor axis. So that is why I am using the word direction, right? So if you are going to take the lintel band through, then the unsupported length in that particular direction is going to get reduced, and as a result of that, the stiffness is going to increase, and due to this increase in stiffness, the short column effect is likely to introduce in the building, right? So now the next question comes is, what is the solution to this particular problem? We have understood the problem, we have understood the behavior. Now the question comes is, what is the solution that we can offer to avoid the presence of short column effect in the building? That is, in the new building, short column effect should be avoided to the extent possible during the architectural design stage itself. When it is not possible to avoid short column, the effect must be addressed in structural design as well. That is, when the elevation of the building is being finalized, when you have the section of the building wherein the floors or the levels of the different slabs are shown. So if the difference between two adjacent slabs is lesser in such a manner that the height of the unsupported height of the column or the unsupported length of the column or the height of the column is 1 meter or less, then you can point out before the execution on the site also happens that this particular portion is likely to be severely affected under the effect of earthquake, and an alternate solution can be discussed with the architect in terms of elevation and floor height. Now if the situation is such that this cannot be changed, right, then in that case it cannot be avoided in design office. That is, IS 1893 is again giving you a guideline that that particular portion should be designed for 5 times the horizontal shear. An adequate amount of shear reinforcement should be provided in the column as per the guideline of IS 1893. So if you can intimate the developer and the architect beforehand, then it is well and good. But somehow if the elevation is to be remain same, it does not change, then it is the duty of structure engineer to take care of this particular effect in the design office, and the detailing should be done accordingly. That is, now what is the other guideline? One guideline I told you, that is IS 1893 is telling you. The other guideline is proposed by IS 13920 2016, that is the code for ductile detailing. So the code is telling that wherever the short column effect is likely to be there, then special confining reinforcement should be provided throughout that portion of short column. That is, when I talk about special confining reinforcement, then as we have discussed in case of ductile detailing of column, the clause is such that the minimum spacing between the two stirrups should be 75 mm and maximum spacing should be 100 mm. And it should be provided for a height of larger lateral dimension at that particular junction, or HC by 6, that is the clear height, or 450 mm, whichever is greater, right? That is L0 that we talked in case of ductile detailing of column. Whereas here it is telling that for the entire height of this short column effect, the special confining reinforcement where the maximum spacing is not greater than 100 should be provided, and this special confining reinforcement should be extended to some portion above the portion of short column effect and some portion below the short column effect also, so that during the reversal of stresses also, the stress is transferred safely and the damage is not observed in the column, right? So that is the guideline that is provided by IS 13920. So same thing is shown over here by means of a sketch where 2 columns are shown. First column is known as the regular column, second column that is shown is known as the short column. In case of regular columns, we have seen that IS 13920 is saying that special confining reinforcement should be limited to the beam column joint and the column and the footing joint. Whereas in case of short column, as you can see in the figure, special confinement zone has to be provided throughout the entire length of the short column and also some portion above the short column, some portion below the short column as well, right? So that the safe transfer of stresses can be accommodated. Now, if the buildings are existing in nature, then what can be done? Then in that case, in existing buildings, this short column effect, different retrofitting solutions can be adopted by mutual discussion with the structure engineer. Where walls of partial height are present, then the simplest solution is that the entire portion or entire height of the opening should be covered by means of masonry walls, and such openings, their partial opening is there and partial masonry walls are present, that should be eliminated from the building. And lastly, a qualified structure engineer should be hired by the developer in order to make sure that the guidelines of IS 1893, IS 13920 are studied. The capacity or the shear capacity of the column is calculated if short column effect is going to be present in the building, and then the sufficient amount of retrofitting techniques which can help us to increase the shear capacity of the building should be adopted, and thus it should be made sure that the existing buildings also become safe when subjected to large amount of lateral forces. I hope you have understood the definition of short column, the behavior of the short column, different cases where the short column effect is likely to be introduced in the building explicitly as well as implicitly, and lastly the solution that is going to be there for this particular effect to be eliminated from the building as well. I hope you have enjoyed today's lecture. Stay tuned for the further lecture series as well. Thank you.